Bien, pues vamos con el último de los casos de este Sherlock Holmes y es el de un paseo a la luz de la luna. Vamos a jugar al caso y a ver con qué nos encontramos. ¿Listo?
Where are you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson.
We have. Where to?
To the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet.
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat-head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes is my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, because I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
Well, and forget about the dinner. Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
Vale, pues empezamos. Tenemos que resolver el misterio de Half Moon Street. Es que me había quedado pillado ahí leyendo la historia. Investigar la escena del crimen y hablar con los testigos en Half Moon Street. Y interrogar a Leighton y examinar sus pertenencias en Scotland Yard. Vale, vamos a empezar por Half Moon Street. A ver si no está muy lejos. O por el contrario, tarda mucho porque está muy lejos. No tarda tan lejos. Venga, va. Está cerquita. Bien, va por aquí, por el callejón. Voy a cambiar la visión porque si no es un lío manejar al personaje. Vamos a girar la esquina y...
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes, is that you?
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving. Who were the victims?
The 2 men here, both shot. The stab fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
You spoke of statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were 2 other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
What were the fireworks in honour of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course. Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
Vale, vamos a examinar los cuerpos también, ya que estamos aquí. A ver, vamos a empezar por la cabeza.
Brian Vercotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to die. He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant. The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound. A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there.
Y el otro cuerpo.
The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance.
Le quitamos una llave.
This is an ordinary key. I wonder what kind of door it opens.
Y vamos a examinar con la letra T. Y vamos a mirar esto de aquí. Objeto atascado. Trozo de madera.
A
Y
piece
nos
of
lo vamos a
wood
llevar.
that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look.
Va. Le echamos un vistacito por aquí.
This shard of wood is quite new.
Perfecto. Y ahora vamos a hablar con el testigo, con el Turner este.
Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And, well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story? Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started. A few moments after, I clearly heard two gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw two bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Were the two shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment. Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with a gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
Veterano de guerra. Le falta un botón. Pido humilde. Y por último, cojo.
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
Vale, pues tendríamos otra aquí, ¿no? Pero yo no recuerdo de la Polly Powell esta, pero yo no recuerdo de haberla... No recuerdo haber hablado con ella.
Mrs. Powell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony, but very well.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes. I was selling my flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Mrs. Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
Vale, ya hemos hablado con los testigos. Voy a hacer las pruebas de la B porque para poder seguir tenemos que... a ver, vista de Turner, ventana oscura. El señor Turner afirma que él permaneció junto a la ventana de su piso hasta que llegó la policía. No obstante, esto se contradice con la declaración de Marrow. La gente no vio a nadie en la ventana. Vale, esto nos hace continuar con el juego porque tenemos que volver a hablar con Turner. Y tenemos que más por aquí. Declaración única. Disparos distintos. 2 víctimas, nada. Y 2 víctimas con disparos distintos, tampoco. Bueno, pues entonces... Vamos a volver a hablar con Turner.
Mr. Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
That is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly.
Vale, ya que estamos, vamos a echarle un vistacito a todo lo que hay por aquí.
This fire is dying out. It was last tended to over an hour ago.
Pulsamos la T y vemos que aquí hay fuego, cenizas y aquí hay papel quemado. Que vamos a coger y vemos que es... A ver, que no es uno, ¿sabe? Que son un buen trozo de papeles, ¿vale?
The papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here. These words are illegible.
Lo miramos vuelta y vuelta.
The papers were thrown into the fire just a short while ago.
Vale, vamos a mirar la cama.
Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by the sound of gunshots.
Se despertó por los disparos, así que... ¿Qué hay por aquí?
The books on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here a short while ago.
Vamos a examinar el bastón.
A perfect match. So, Mr. Turner broke his stick when it became stuck between the cobblestones. He did not mention that he was so near to the victims.
Con esto podemos situar a Turner en la escena del crimen. Porque hemos encontrado la punta del bastón al lado del cadáver, ¿vale? Del joyero. Entonces, nos está mintiendo. Vamos a mirar por aquí la mesa.
This kitchen knife is quite sharp.
Cuchillo muy afilado. Usamos la T y vemos que aquí hay algo. Restos. Papel cortado. Y encontramos...
There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper.
Que usó el cuchillo para cortar papel. ¿Vale? Entonces ahora sí,
Anything else you would like to know?
examinamos la ventana.
So, that's the view Mr. Turner had when he opened the window. The dead body of Kenneth Butler. Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse. Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime scene. He saw the bodies clearly, and Leighton Chapman standing over them.
Y ahora tenemos que usar la F para hacer la cronología, digamos, de lo que hizo el señor Turner. Y lo primero que hace es levantarse. Bien. Va a ir hasta la ventana. Luego va a bajar a coger algo. Va a venir. Va a soltar el bastón. Y a coger... soltar el bastón y coger algo de los libros. Va a venir aquí. Va a cortar el libro. A ver cómo lo hago. Aquí. Va a cortar con el cuchillo el libro. Por eso hay restos de hojas en la mesa. Y eso que ahí donde ha cortado va a guardar lo que ha cogido. Y el trozo que ha cortado lo va a tirar al fuego. Vale, le damos a ver la secuencia. La voy a adelantar un poquito, ¿vale? Se levanta. Va a la ventana. Porque si no, es que va a tardar mucho. Bien. Baja. Ahí se agacha, coge algo. Y el bastón se le queda clavado ahí en el adoquín. Y ahora tira de él. Y es cuando lo rompe, ¿vale? Vuelve. Suelta el bastón. Busca un libro. Va a la mesa de la cocina. Corta el libro para ocultar lo que ha cogido. Y lo que le sobra lo tira al fuego.
So Mr. Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, what did he find?
Bien, pues vamos a mirar con la letra T. Y tenemos huellas de grasa, ¿vale? En el libro.
I
Entonces
can see
sabemos...
prints from greasy fingers upon the cover of this book. Let
Sabemos
us take a closer look.
que este es el libro que ha cogido, lo abrimos y nos
Well
encontramos...
now, what a find. A precious jewel, concealed inside a book. A bracelet with a unique ram's head design, a distinctive feature of ancient Grecian artifacts, probably of the Hellenistic era.
Así que vamos a preguntarle a Turner a ver qué nos cuenta del brazalete.
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age. And when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right leg. It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or someone in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something. But it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Oh, time can pull tricks on you.
And what of everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and true statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
Mr. Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
This, Mr. Turner, does not look like anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
No, merely correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles. Constable Marrow was unable to see you in the window as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad. I'm just a poor man. When I chanced upon the bracelet, I saw it as an opportunity to make a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's all, I swear.
You made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal. I believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
Bien, pues como veis arriba a la izquierda, averiguar algo sobre el brazalete, registrar el piso de Turner completado. Así que nos vamos a ir a Baker Street a investigar sobre el brazalete, ¿vale? Entonces, bueno, espérate, voy a quitar todo esto, que no me gusta que haya puntitos, ¿vale? Tenemos que investigar esto. Volvemos a Baker Street. Vamos a ir a las enciclopedias. Y vamos a buscar información sobre el brazalete. Un brazalete de oro antiguo que fue hallado en el piso del señor Turner está decorado con unas peculiares cabezas de carnero. Entonces tendremos que mirar en... Vale, aquí no. Dijo que eran helenísticos. Que eran tesoros helenísticos. Arte y arquitectura. Arte antiguo del Museo Británico. Pues mira. Estas bellas joyas antiguas forman parte de la colección del tesoro helenísticos. En la imagen se aprecian las 5 cabezas de carnero labradas en un brazalete, un collar y un anillo, todos de oro puro. Los 5 carneros de Mitilén llevan desaparecidos desde 1885.
Here it is. I need to continue my research in my archives.
Vale, seguimos. Ahora tenemos que... Una pieza de conjunto de joyas antiguas pertenece a la colección de tesoros helenísticos. Desaparecieron en el museo en 1885. Entonces vamos a mirar en periódico. En el año 85. Tesoros helenísticos robados. Los tesoros helenísticos fueron robados en la noche de ayer mientras se transportaban en un carruaje desde el Museo Británico a la exposición de arte de Glasgow. El dueño de una casa de empeño, Kenneth Butler, casualmente es uno de los que está muerto, se puso en contacto con Scotland Yard esa noche e informó de un caballero que había intentado venderle una serie de objetos históricos en su local de Church Street. La policía procedió a arrestar al hombre descrito, un ladrón profesional llamado Vincent Foley, que está intentando escapar de Londres por el puerto. Fue identificado por el conductor superviviente del carruaje que transportaba la colección de tesoros helenísticos. Vincent Foley se niega a confesar dónde está el resto de tesoros robados. Ha sido llevado a prisión. Los tesoros perdidos aún no han sido hallados.
Here it is. One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Vale, tenemos la casa de empeños, tenemos esto y esto, ¿vale? Tenemos la llave que le quitamos al cadáver. Pues esta es para la casa de empeños, así que vamos a ir para allá a ver qué hay por ahí. Y mientras vamos a echar un vistacito a la B a ver si encontramos algo nuevo. Tenemos declaración única, dos víctimas, disparos distintos. Dos víctimas, disparos distintos, no. Y arte desaparecido, tampoco. Y me quedaría arte desaparecido con disparos distintos o declaración única, no ninguno de los dos. Vale, venga, va, seguimos. Bueno, vamos atando cabos. Vale, estamos en... Eso es Whitechapel, me parece, ¿no? Usamos la llave.
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
Y vamos a mirar todo lo que podamos.
Crampons and a sharp ice axe would only be brought here by a mountaineer.
Unos crampones y un piolet. Vale, por ahora no lo vamos a poder coger. Abrimos esto. Miramos aquí. Tenemos una pistola de bengala.
Pistol. Perhaps it was pawned by a destitute sailor.
Que tampoco vamos a coger por ahora. Cuando lo jugué en directo sí lo cogí todo del tiro. O sea que estoy haciendo algo distinto.
It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations. The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 Rams of Mittelin collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft.
Hey Kenneth, me acuerdo de que en una ocasión me hablaste de 3 piezas de joyería en oro de la antigua Grecia con cabezas de carneros labradas. Todavía la tienes, ¿no? Pues tengo buenas noticias para ti. He encontrado un hombre podrido de dinero que está como loco por esas joyas. Está dispuesto a pagar una fortuna. Puedo concertarte una reunión con el millonetti si no repartimos la ganancia. Te estaré esperando en el cruce de Great Alley con Half Moon Street el domingo por la noche antes de los fuegos artificiales. Bercotti, que es el otro que ha muerto. Vale, vamos a mirar la B y ahora tenemos las joyas de Butler con el arte desaparecido. Pues no. Pues con las otras creo que no, ¿no? Así, pues con 2 víctimas. La búsqueda de los tesoros helenísticos perdidos pudo ser el móvil del crimen que se cometió en Half-Moon Street. El señor Turner recogió el brazalete justo después del asesinato, pero el anillo sigue en paradero desconocido. Vale. ¿Y qué me quedaría? 2 víctimas con nada, has desaparecido con nada, disparos distintos con nada. Pues... Vale. Ah, ya sé por qué no puedo recoger estas cosas. Porque me falta la declaración de Shatman. Así que vamos a ir a Scotland Yard y vamos a hablar con el sospechoso. Después vamos a tener que volver aquí.
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Bien, pues vamos a ir a mirar primero las pertenencias.
So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder. Two out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots.
Vamos a ver, si disparó 2 veces esta pistola y se escuchó 2 disparos, ¿cómo se mataron los dos? O sea, que fue, mato a uno y me suicido. O sea, que tuvo que haber más de 2 disparos, entonces.
A cheap watch, bought with his own money, no doubt. These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing interesting.
Vale, tenemos B, tenemos pistas. Vamos a usarlas porque... Nada de valor. Vale, nada de valor con arte desaparecido. No. Con disparos distintos. Tampoco. Pues con las demás creo que no. Vale. Disparos distintos con revólver de Leighton. Esto sí. Turner notó que los 2 disparos sonaron de forma distinta porque de hecho fueron 3. El primero se disparó de una sola vez y justo después se dispararon 2 armas simultáneamente, por eso sonó más fuerte. Entonces, Turner pudo detectar que los 2 disparos eran diferentes porque se hicieron desde puntos distintos en Half Moon Street. No, yo me quedo con el que hubo más de 2 disparos. ¿Qué tendremos por aquí? 2 víctimas con revólver de Leighton. Kenneth Butler y Brian Bercotti fueron víctimas de un doble asesinato cometido por una persona. No, esto no es así, pero... contradice a lo de antes. Claro, si pongo esto, puede que sí. Pero yo es que esto no me lo creo. Prefiero que se contradigan. Vale, ¿qué más tenemos por aquí? El arte desaparecido con revólver de Leighton no va. Nada de valor no va con nada. 2 víctimas. Vale, 2 víctimas con el revólver de Leighton, ya lo hemos mirado. Con declaración única. Las declaraciones de los testigos y el arma del crimen apuntan claramente a un presunto culpable, Leighton Chapman. Pero yo no me creo eso, así que vamos a seguir. Vamos a interrogar a el Chapman este.
please escort this suspect for interrogation? Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw two men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand, though. I took it, and then I followed the third man.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man. Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps... It's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
Vamos a examinar al sospechoso. Lo primero es la cicatriz. ¿Qué es lo que mira ahí? Ah, que tiene un ojo morado.
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released, and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vercotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Vale, tenemos más pistas. Y las vamos a hacer mientras vamos hacia la casa de empeños, ¿vale? Para ahorrar un poco de tiempo. Hacemos las pistas y tenemos la declaración de Layton con declaración única. Hombre imaginario. La persona que Layton Chapman describe en su declaración es fruto de su propia imaginación. La creó para autojustificarse. Muy bien, eso no me ayuda mucho. Declaración de Layton, viejo conocido. 2 víctimas, nada de valor. Y has desaparecido. Vale, esto no sirve ya con nada. Viejo conocido con 2 víctimas. Con nada de valor. La búsqueda de los tesoros helenísticos perdido pudo ser el móvil del crimen que cometió en Half Moon Street. El señor Turner recogió el brazalete justo después del asesinato, pero el anillo sigue en paradero desconocido. Motivos personales. El móvil de Layton Chapman para cometer el violento crimen de Half Moon pudo ser personal. Y de aquí ya no podríamos hacer nada más. Vale, me siguen faltando datos, tío. Así que vamos a ir al... ¿A dónde estamos? Para acá. A la casa de empeños a ver si podemos recoger.
Crampons and a
Pues no, no los podemos recoger todavía. ¿Por qué no los podemos recoger todavía? Porque nos falta algo. ¿Qué nos falta? Vale, nos falta examinar ¿dónde está? Aquí. Nos falta examinar la escena del crimen para comprobar lo de los disparos, a ver si es verdad o mentira. Que verdad es que, que las pistas no son buenas. He querido cortar tiempo y al final lo voy a perder. Porque por ahorrarme tiempo y ir directamente a esto, lo voy a perder. Volvemos a la escena del crimen.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Vale, tenemos la letra F. ¿Veis? Una de las víctimas posiblemente disparó 2 veces su pistola. Averigua quién fue. Entonces tenemos a este. El primero falla y luego dispara al estómago. Mientras que el otro dispara ahí arriba y después le pega en la cabeza. Entonces vamos a mirar.
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
Vale, necesitamos algo para iluminar. Uy, qué rápido girado. Iluminar eso. Entonces tenemos aquí una pérdida. Si no pisamos al muerto, mejor. Y tenemos...
This should be useful.
¿Dónde está el...? ¿Cuál es el farol que podemos coger? ¿Este? ¿Dónde? ¿Qué farol podemos coger? Habría que coger un farol. A ver si... Vale. Ah, vale, pues no hace falta coger el farol. El farol ya lo lleva incluido la pérdida. Vale, miramos.
Nothing interesting here.
Y aquí no hay ningún disparo. Entonces, vamos a comprobar lo del otro tirador. Y miramos si aquí hay un disparo. Y resulta de que sí, que hay
This
un
is most
impacto de bala.
definitely a bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh. Watson, there was a third shot fired in this street.
Entonces, ahora habría que llamar a la balística y comprobar... Tenemos un tercer disparo con 2 víctimas. Lo que nos hace cambiar la historia ya. Entonces tenemos que Kenneth Valley y Marcotti murieron en el tiroteo y cada uno llevaba una pistola y una de ellas ha desaparecido. ¿Vale? La otra es Kenneth Valley y Marcotti fueron víctimas de un doble asesinato cometido por una persona. Pues ya tenemos pistas de que había, por lo menos había un tiroteo. Tenemos lo de los disparos. ¿Vale? Y por ahora nos quedaríamos así, porque lo demás no se puede ya. Haber desaparecido con un tercer disparo no va a cuadrar, así que... Vale, ya estamos más cerca de... ¿por qué me marca la B? Si ya lo hemos hecho todo. No entiendo por qué me sigue marcando la B. Vale, lo que decía, ya estamos más cerca de creernos la historia del Chapman, ¿vale? Entonces, resolver el misterio de Half Moon. Así, ya está. Vale, vamos a hablar con...
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
con Wiggins,
Mr.
tampoco.
Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard? Is he all right?
¿Por qué me sigue marcando la B? Pero si ya lo hemos hecho todo. Vale, pues no lo habíamos hecho todo. La declaración de Leighton Chapman acerca del hombre de la chaqueta que desapareció en Half Moon Street ahora parece plausible. Los 3 disparos de la escena del crimen demuestran que hubo una segunda pistola que está en paradero desconocido. Vale. Entonces, ahora ya sí. No tenemos nada más que hacer. Vale, por eso me salía la B. Es que gusto. Bien. Entonces ahora ya sí. Tenemos que ir a la casa de empeños. Y ahora sí deberíamos poder...
Crampons.
¿Que no? ¿Pero por qué no? Me la está jugando, este juego. Me está troleando. ¿Por qué no me deja coger ya eso? Hablar con el agente Barrow. ¡Ah! Con las prisas, tío. Otra vez Half Moon Street. Con las prisas de querer coger los objetos me estoy saltando las cosas. Venga, va. Vamos a hablar con Barrow.
Why are you looking at me all the time like that?
I'm just watching you, lad. I never know what to expect from people like you.
People like me?
Yes, street beggars and thieves.
I ain't a thief.
Oh, no? Then where did you get... whatever it is that you're gnawing on. I very much doubt that you bought it.
What ain't seen can't hardly be stolen.
Vale, lo que pasa es que grabé, o sea, terminé el juego hace 5 días y como he ido grabando un capítulo por día, pues hace 5 que, no, que hice este, ya pues se me olvidan las cosillas. Por eso cometo esos
Constable
errores.
Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood.
Vale, nosotros somos Marrow, ¿vale? Y tenemos que ir buscando a ver si encontramos con el farol que llevamos y encontramos a Sherlock Holmes, ¿vale? Por ejemplo, que está aquí.
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Vale, tenemos que encontrarlo unas cuantas veces. Ya hemos hecho 2 y la tercera es aquí.
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp while hiding in the street.
Vale, ya hemos reconstruido esto. Utilizamos la B, que tenemos algo nuevo. Y tenemos esquinas a la vista, declaración de Leighton. Si asumimos que había una persona en Almond Street en el momento del crimen, su única vía de escape tuvo que ser hacia arriba. Hay que reconstruir los hechos, emular los fuegos artificiales que describe Leighton e intentar trepar el muro. Ahora sí. Ahora sí. O mejor dicho, ahora por fin tenemos que ir a la casa de empeños. A la tercera va la vencida. Vale. Vamos a coger el piolet y los campones.
These tools are exactly what I need to climb the wall.
Y para emular los fuegos artificiales vamos a coger la pistola de bengalas.
This is exactly what we need in order to imitate the flash of the fireworks.
Volvemos a Halmon Street. Y... ¿por qué no corre? Ah, vale.
Wiggins, my lad, what are you doing here? You'd best be leaving and be quick about it.
I've done nothing wrong. You'd learn more by watching Mr. Holmes. He knows exactly what he's doing. Not like you.
Oi, watch your tongue.
Vale.
Constable Marrow, Watson, I would like to perform another kind of reenactment with your help.
I'm listening, Mr. Holmes.
I want to check if Leighton's testimony can be trusted. If someone could vanish into thin air at a specific moment.
But Holmes, I don't see how.
I am going to be the mysterious gentleman whom Leighton followed. I will stand exactly where he saw him before he was blinded by the flash. Watson, you will be Leighton. When I fire the signal flare, you should start to chase me.
I understand, Holmes.
You, Constable Marrow, just play your part and do exactly as you did. Just, please, wait 5 seconds after the signal flare. I doubt that Polly Powell would have screamed any earlier.
As you say, Mr. Holmes.
Let us begin then. Catch me if you can.
Vale, pulsamos la F y tenemos que usar este, el escalar
This
el muro.
wall is cast in shadow. It would be difficult to see anyone scaling it.
Vale, Watson está cegado y nosotros hemos desaparecido. ¿Por qué? Pues ahora lo vamos a ver. Porque tenemos que darle a la D y escalar. Ahora la A. D.
I can
Tenemos que hacerlo
barely
rápido, ¿eh?
see anything.
A. D.
Holmes? Are you there?
A. Uy, le había dado, ¿eh?
Where is he? My God, a man can't just disappear like that. Holmes? Holmes? Where are you?
I cannot see you, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson, it seems that Mr. Holmes has disappeared.
Don't worry, gentlemen, I am up here, above your heads.
How on earth did you get up there, Holmes?
I am using crampons and a climbing axe, although the person we are looking for did not leave any traces of such tools. Constable, is there any way to get to the top of this building?
Yes, Mr. Holmes, I can show you. The door to the building can be found from Whitechapel Street.
Gentlemen, I am on my way down.
Vale. Tenemos que examinar el ático, así que vamos a entrar por aquí.
These shards of glass are from the window above.
Examinamos la ventana rota y nos encontramos
It's empty.
con...
Someone broke through the window to get inside the attic,
Nos dice
but
que
in his
miremos,
haste he ripped his jacket.
que miremos por la T, pero vamos, hay una chaqueta aquí, así que más claro que eso ya. Fibras negras.
A cluster of thick black threads. They're unusually strong. I should examine them under the microscope. We can conclude that the person whom Leighton saw climbed up the wall, broke into the attic window, and escaped through the hatch.
Bien, tenemos pistas, así que tenemos declaración de Leighton y trepamuro. Lo que nos lleva a la declaración de Leighton Chapman acerca del misterio del hombre de las chaquetas en que participó en el tiro de Japón ha resultado ser cierta. Entonces, ¿por qué está esto en rojo? El hombre imaginario está que tendremos que buscar algo para que no sea trepamuro y arte desaparecido. No, pues tenemos que buscar algo para que cambie esa declaración. O esa pista, mejor dicho. Bien, tenemos que ir a Baker Street. Tenemos que analizar las fibras que hemos encontrado.
Let us take a closer look.
Vale. Ponemos nítida la imagen.
It is not a thread, but a hair. I very much doubt that it is human. I need to compare this sample with a human hair and a horse hair. A shaving brush is usually made from horsehair. Watson, could you please pass me your shaving brush?
Here you are.
Watson, look, what's outside the window?
Well, I don't see anything. Ouch! Holmes,
Oh, don't make such a fuss. One little hair. The horsehair is thinner than the hair that we found. This is a most unusual hair. Human hair is significantly thinner than the black sample. So, this black hair belongs to an animal, and it is larger than a horse. A hair from a large and exotic animal.
Tenemos el pelo de un animal más grande que un caballo y exótico, o sea que trepamuros, animal exótico, nos da un acróbata del circo. Lo que nos conduce a que el truco de la desaparición, la persona que solo Leighton Chapman vio escapó de la escena del crimen trepando el muro. Era un acróbata talentoso. El criminal cogió el arma del cadáver de Kenneth Butler. ¿Qué deberemos hacer ahora? Pues buscar un circo. ¿Cómo lo vamos a hacer? Pidiéndole ayuda a Wiggins. Halcombe Street. Vamos ya por Wiggins.
Look here, lad. You'd better go home and start thinking about what a fine pickle your brother's landed himself in.
Ha! But he'll be free tonight, 'cause he's innocent.
Don't be daft, lad. It's a closed case.
Si dejamos de pisar en los muertos, mejor, ¿eh? ¿Por qué no me deja hablar con Wiggins ahora?
Mr. Holmes?
We have good news for you, Wiggins. The investigation has proven very interesting so far. We found facts and details that confirm your brother's innocence.
I knew it, Mr. Holmes.
But for now, Wiggins, we need your help.
Anything you like, Gov.
I need you to locate a circus that has stopped over in London. It needs to have disposed of at least one exotic animal, a very large one.
You can count on me, Mr. Holmes.
I do hope that those children don't get into trouble, Holmes.
Don't worry, Watson. I predict some news in 7 seconds.
Mr. Holmes, we found it. Here it is.
And this is a young Indian elephant, the highlight of the show. Duval Brothers, a well-known travelling circus that is currently stopped in London. I believe that is exactly the type of circus we are looking for. I'll pay it a visit.
Pues nada, vamos para el circo. En la B no tenemos nada, ¿no? Así que seguimos.
Hey, you! Stop right there.
Good morning, sir. Pardon me, but why am I not allowed to walk around here?
Because it's private.
Well, I only wanted to meet the artistes.
Hmm? You're wanting to apply for... Nah. You don't look like the type of, artistic lockpicker that we're looking for.
You might be surprised.
What? Nah. I don't think so. Clear off.
Vale, pues no nos deja entrar, así que nos tenemos que disfrazar. Volvemos a Baker Street. Que me podía haber disfrazado antes y no hubiéramos ahorrado el tiempo este, pero bueno. Vamos a disfrazarnos. Tenemos que parecer bandido. Ese nos iría bien. Y creo que sombrero también nos deberíamos poner. Así. Yo creo que así iríamos bien. Entonces ya que estamos, ponerme algo de barba para que no me reconozcan. Esto estaría bien, creo yo.
Stay where you are. What are you doing here, and where is Sherlock Holmes?
Calm down, Watson. Take deep breaths now. It's me.
Oh, thank God, Holmes. I can't get used to your disguises.
Thank you, Watson. That means I am ready to go.
Volvemos al circo.
Who are you? What's your name?
My name is Nigel. I'm here to open the locks.
Talented, eh? Let's see. Go inside the marquee and show yourself to Charles Foley. And I'd highly advise you not to trick him. Got that?
I've got it.
Vale, entramos. Vamos a hablar con Vincent Foley.
So, everything is here just as you asked. And what about the money?
Some of the barrels are wet.
Transportation issues, it couldn't be helped.
Whatever. We'll be here after midnight to pick up the supplies.
I want to be paid first.
No. You'll be paid after we make the transfer, as I said.
Right?
I hope that no one saw you. The police are on the lookout.
Of course not. I'm a professional.
Glad to hear it. Be ready for tonight, then.
Explorar el circo. Lo que vamos a explorar es esto.
This wooden barrel is damaged. It is difficult to say what is inside. This wooden barrel... There is a spot on this barrel that was intentionally painted. This wooden barrel...
Observamos con la T.
The crest of the Honourable Artillery Company. Could it be gunpowder? I need to be sure. Judging by the fractions and the scent, I can confirm that it is, in fact, gunpowder.
Pólvora,
The
son muchos
barrels
barriles
are
de
roughly
pólvora.
clustered. It seems as though they were brought here in a hurry. This printing press is old, but still quite capable of printing hundreds of pages per day. From lambs into lions, those are words of encouragement and defiance. That's a picture of a contemporary gentleman wearing a Robin Hood hat. Interesting. This poster was clearly made to fire up rebellion amongst the people. There are enough posters to paste across half of London's walls. Powder kegs, a printing press, and a great many blank papers. All of this was stolen by the Merry Men quite recently. And these poster samples. I am quite sure it is not a coincidence. The Merry Men are planning some sort of sabotage.
Stop right there. Who are you?
Are you Charles Foley?
Maybe.
They say that I can open any door.
Do they now?
We'll see her lock near the chains on a table over there. Open that.
Es Chas Foley. Yo he dicho antes Vincent Foley. Vale, lo vamos a examinar. Una miradita así rápida. La llave de la caja fuerte. Aquí lleva sangre. Lleva una pistola. Lleva el anillo con una cabeza de carnero. Y me faltaría... Ahí se marca. Dedos vendados, vale. No le veo la mano, pero... Acróbata. Y tenemos que abrir ese candado. Otro puzzle de candados, ya sabéis cómo lo hago yo. Primero miramos. Yo estoy mirando el lado derecho. Bajamos aquí. No, ahí no. Aquí. Vamos uniendo. Para esta me va a costar trabajo verla si no muevo antes. Ahí. Y si giro, bajamos una. Y aquí. Ah, mira. Entonces ahora tengo que girar por aquí para... Porque esta no se mueve. Ah, la que se mueve es la de abajo. Esta se mueve. Ah, pero no se puede mover. O sea, está... Si la muevo... Esta no se mueve. Y si muevo esta... ¿Con qué debería coincidir esta entonces? Entonces, ¿cuál es la que falla? Esta. ¿Tiene que estar aquí o aquí? Yo creo que es aquí. A ver, vamos a hacerla. Mira, están todas encajadas. Me falla esta. Pero sin embargo, esta... No, esta no encaja aquí. Así. Ahí estarían todas encajadas, menos esta, que debería ir aquí. Ahora. Vale, tenemos la B. Revólver de Foley. Anillo antiguo. Y arte desaparecido con antiguo anillo. Pues no. Entonces, al revés. Antiguo con revólver. Anillo con revólver. Charles Foley lleva un anillo antiguo y la última pieza que falta en el conjunto de joyas de los 5 carneros de Mytilene. Y también un revólver al cinto. Eso demuestra que Charles Foley es el misterioso hombre de la chaqueta que tan hábilmente escapó de la escena del crimen de Half Moon Street. Vale. Ya lo demás no es que me queda esa sola. Vamos a hablar con él.
Ah. Well, they're right. What's your name?
Nigel Shirley, from York.
Ah, Nigel from York. Never heard anything about you. How'd you hear about me?
It's a long story. I met your brother. Vincent the Butcher Foley, in prison. He told me all about his betrayal and all about you. Before I was released, he told me that you might find a job for me one day and pay me some money for me craft.
Well, he died 7 days ago in prison.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right. The traitor has paid the blood price for it. And you'll do the job anyway, because I need a talented lockpicker. I know just where to search for his legacy.
It's all about the Hellenistic treasures, isn't it?
Osh, you fool. Now, listen up. You'll come with us tonight, and you better mind yourself.
Us? Wait, who's coming then?
Billy, Jack and me.
And what will I get for that?
We'll share the loot. The one you seem to know about.
Right.
Wait for us at the abandoned manor house on a corner of Ladbroke Grove and Kensington Park Road at midnight.
Deal.
Vale, tenemos que ir a la mansión de Notting Hill. Muy buena película, por cierto. Julia Roberts y Hugh Grant. Y tenemos que poner trampas.
Here I am at the manor. Somewhere inside it are the Hellenistic treasures. This lock is quite old. It shouldn't be much of a challenge.
Vale, tenemos otro puzzle, ya sabéis. Buscamos una zona. Vale, en la derecha no hay. Así que vamos a mirar por la izquierda. Aquí hay 2. No puede ser. Ah, vale, es que esta se puede mover. Vale, perfecto. Entonces vamos a mirar esta. ¿También se puede mover? No. La que sí se puede mover es esta. Vale. Vale, mira, ahora incluso que estaría bien. Entonces deberemos buscar que cuadre aquí. Vale, la que me falla entonces es esta. Pero esta no puede ser así, tío. Ah, sí, sí.
I need to find where the safe is hidden and lockpick it. This cupboard is an absolute mess. Several books have fallen from the shelves. It seems as though this cupboard can be moved. I'll give it a try.
Premio.
So, that's...
Intentamos abrir la cerradura. Tenemos otro puzzle de cerraduras. Estoy mirando a la derecha. Colocamos este. Colocamos este. Vale, este lo deberíamos colocar así, por ejemplo. No, pero entonces si colocamos este así no cuadra con este. ¿Cuál es el que se puede mover? ¿Hay ninguno que se pueda mover? Vale, esto tiene que ir así, sí o sí. No hay otro. Este. Vale, ahora sí cuadra con este. Pero el que no cuadra es este. ¿Qué cuadraría con este ahora? Y el que no cuadra ahora es este. Ahora sí, ¿no? Vale, habríamos abierto la primera y nos faltaría la llave para abrir la segunda. Bien. Bueno, espérate, porque nos lo tiene que decir, me parece, ¿no?
What a surprise. Another lock. And I won't be able to pick it. I recall that precious key around Foley's neck. It might prove a decent fit. I suppose they hired me to only open the first lock. Let us wait for the thieves, trap them, and find out. Let us check the thieves' possible escape routes in the event that they are caught off guard by the police from the front door.
Vale, tenemos que ir poniéndole trampas a los ladrones, así que ahora cuando me deje...
This door is a perfect means of escape in an emergency.
Usamos la F para ver por dónde vendría el ladrón. Cerramos aquí, por ejemplo.
This door leads to a kitchen.
Si me deja. Cogemos la cuerda.
Solid rope.
Vale, cogemos la... Ahí está la silla, vale, venga, va. La silla y la usamos con el pomo de la puerta. Muy típico de las películas americanas.
The door is now blocked.
Vale, tendríamos en la primera. Y el tío vendría corriendo y chocaría contra la puerta, no la podría abrir. ¿Vale? Entonces daría la vuelta y vendría por aquí. Ah, no, coge un mazo. Coge un mazo y parte la puerta. El mazo está aquí. ¿Qué vamos a hacer nosotros? Pues vamos a coger... Supongo que ahora sí me dejará coger la cuerda.
This should be useful.
Examinamos la lámpara y atamos la cuerda al mazo. Colgamos la lámpara.
Now, if anyone takes the hammer, the rope will uncoil and make the chandelier fall.
Entonces ahora el ladrón viene, no puede abrir la
If he
puerta,
runs through the dining room
coge el
and takes
mazo
a sledgehammer to force open the door, the chandelier will knock him down.
y le cae la lámpara. Y 1-0 para nosotros. Bien, ¿qué tendríamos por aquí más? A ver, esta ventana.
The ground floor window is a perfect way to escape the police.
Movemos el armario.
This works very
Ya
well.
no hay ventana.
No one will escape through this window now.
Luego, vamos. Por
This
esta
door is
puerta
a
se
perfect
puede
means of
seguir,
escape in an
puede seguir
emergency.
saliendo gente. Entonces, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Vamos a abrir la trampilla. Quitamos la puerta.
There is no ladder.
Y para que no la vean, ¿dónde estaba? Arriba. Aquí está. ¿Esto era? No, ¿dónde está? Aquí. Cogemos la alfombra.
This should be useful.
Y la colocamos en la trampilla de la cocina.
Now, it's not an open hatch, just a nice carpet on the floor. I should walk carefully here.
Vale, ya nos faltaría la ventana de arriba.
Although this window is high above the ground, it would be possible for one of the thieves to attempt to use it for their escape.
Entonces cogemos el collar este de perlas
This should be useful.
o de bolitas y lo tiramos en la escalera.
One step on these beads, and our thief will go flying. I should walk carefully here, else my plan will be ruined. Any thief who finds his way upstairs will roll down very quickly. Now, if a thief runs through the kitchen, he'll pay a surprise visit to the cellar. The traps for my circus companions are all prepared. I can leave now, but I'll return later with Charles Foley and his companions.
Police! Police!
Stop where you are!
Where are they?
Trapped, Watson, with your assistance.
How so?
You sounded just like a real Bobby, my dear fellow. You startled them into the traps.
I did?
I assure you, Watson, it was quite an entertaining show. They will not escape the house now.
You scum!
And this is the pistol used for the murder in Half Moon Street.
How do you know about that?
Have you closed the case yet, Sherlock?
Mycroft, what are you doing here? Did you follow me?
Sherlock, it may seem that I used you, but you should be pleased to know that you have served our queen well, in this instance. So now, let us catch the big fish. But this man is not one of the merry men.
No.
Then why exactly are we here, Sherlock?
This gentleman, Charles Foley, has been involved in a double murder, and the hunter of a set of valuable antiques, the Hellenistic treasures, which disappeared in a theft many years ago.
You're no better than the coppers.
Holmes, that is incredible. The Hellenistic treasures.
Indeed.
Nothing but trifles. Where are the merry men?
I don't know why you are asking me, Mycroft. They are yours to find.
I'll see you soon, dear brother.
Bien, tenemos más pistas, así que tenemos el arte desaparecido con la caja fuerte valiosa. Y tenemos que las antigüedades halladas en la caja fuerte secreta de la mansión abandonada de Notting Hill forman la colección de los tesoros helenísticos que fue robada en 1885 y que se creía perdida. Y eso nos da a que el culpable es Foley. Entonces ahora podemos absolver a Foley o condenar a Foley. Yo le voy a dar a condenar, ¿vale?
Charles Foley, you committed the crime of premeditated murder and of theft. You will be severely punished for your deeds.
You are pitiful, you Scotland Yard dog.
Save your words for the gallows. I'm sure the journalists will love them. I shall leave now, Watson. Gentlemen, please take our friends here into custody.
Where are you going?
I have unfinished business. I'll see you at Baker Street.
Be careful with the lamps. Don't bring them too close to the barrels.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Who's there?
That is of no importance. What matters is who you are and the plans that you have here.
So you can stop us from carrying them out?
Eventually, yes.
Hey, careful. You'll blow us all up.
I'm listening.
We are a group known as the Merry Men. But I suppose you knew that already. We are the men who've already lost everything of value in their lives. We are ruined shopkeepers. We are workers who were fired from their jobs. Honest people who were robbed. We were forced out from our homes and thrown onto the street. And all of this in the name of the so-called law. The laws that were set out by our government. The laws that make the commoners only more vulnerable and the wealthy more protected. We are not only from the British Empire. Some of us are from the New Lands, America, Australia, and we are many. But men we are still, and we are merry for that we stopped being afraid. For those powers that be had done their best to plant the fear inside our souls, and we accepted it so easily. The fear advised us to keep our heads bowed. It prevented us from fighting. Bankers and politicians, they own our lives, our work, our bread, and they push us to compete between each other, just to see who may serve them better. But in the end, they are the few, so they are weak. They are nothing without their titles. We should not fear them. Our so-called masters should fear us instead. The time has come for our group to stand tall. Our great and many merry men. We are going to blow up the London Stock Exchange. No life shall be lost. But ownerships, debts, and property titles? They shall all be destroyed. They're only papers, after all. So many people will be freed over this night.
That is a radical step to take. What result do you truly expect?
Chaos. But soon people will understand that they are free, and that they don't belong to anyone. They will be able to work for themselves, together, without letting the rulers dictate what to do, and finally justice will arise.
What you are intending to do is a crime. It is not justice.
How do you see justice, then? Kids go to prison for a loaf of dry bread. And how many lords do you see punished for stealing from their people? Sending them to their deaths in mines or overseas to fight for land? Our masters wouldn't hear us. So now it's time to sing the song of the merry men. Will you let us do our duty?
Vale, ahora tenemos que tomar la decisión si quemamos la pólvora y dejamos que no hagan nada, o si tiramos el cigarrillo al agua y dejamos que consigan lo que quieren. Vamos a empezar por la pólvora.
When people fight the order, they are too blind to see the consequences that throw society into chaos. I shall stop your actions, but not you. Run. Now!
So, you're interested in Russian literature now?
Quite lately.
It is an interesting book. I remember a few lines.
Really? I tried reading it myself, but I had a hard time understanding it.
Yes, Doctor. It's about intelligence. Sherlock, I vaguely recall one of the lines. Sometimes it takes something more than intelligence to act intelligently. There were also a few words along the lines of pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. Tell me, Doctor, does my brother show any signs of pain or suffering?
Not that I know of.
Because you see, Doctor, behind all of his masquerade, my brother does possess a deep heart. So deep that he does not recall where he places his love.
Well, I'm sure that...
His love and his duty that, in the first place, should be directed towards the Empire. For without it, we would be nothing. A country filled with uncivilized men.
And the Empire needs order and discipline. It has no room for chaos.
People who commit crimes, or at the very least intend them, deserve punishment, Sherlock. Without justice, there can be no civilization.
But we serve the truth, not justice.
Your truth, Doctor, that may prove immoral. Allowing people to terrorize London, destabilizing the whole empire.
Terrorize only the powers whom you serve, Mycroft. Not I, not Watson, not Mrs. Hudson, not Wiggins.
Sherlock, the merry men are to be stopped.
Not by me. You created the merry men. Stop them yourself. Only make sure that you don't create 10 more merry men by arresting the one.
Good night, Dr. Watson.
Anything in the post, Watson? Any clients worthy of our attention?
Only a second reminder from Mrs. Hudson about our new neighbour. She urges you to remove your...
Oh, I don't care about that.
Holmes, the lady who will be moving in shortly has requested the use of our spare room to place all of her boxes.
Wait, what? A lady?
Bien, pues hasta aquí el caso. Supuestamente si pulsamos el espacio debería estar 18 pruebas y venganza de Foley. Hemos acertado. Vamos a repetir el final, vamos a intentar hacerlo, pero esta vez vamos a dejar que los alegres compañeros se lleven la pólvora a ver qué pasa, ¿vale?
Don't move, you flimflammer.
Y esta vez en vez de condenar a Foley vamos a absorberlo, a ver qué pasa. Porque no sé si absorbiéndole llegamos a los alegres compañeros.
Charles Foley, you were a witness to a double murder. You were standing next to Vercotti when Butler fired at your accomplice. The jeweler missed him, but they proceeded to kill each other with simultaneous shots. Even if your intention was to retrieve the stolen treasure, you did not intend to kill. I shall inform Inspector Lestrade of that fact, so your sentence should be the lighter.
You are a fine gentleman, with your fake pity.
I do what I think is right. It is never due to pity. Farewell, Foley. I shall leave now, Watson. Gentlemen, please take our friends here into custody.
Where are you going?
I have unfinished business. I'll see you at Baker Street.
Be careful with the lamps. Don't bring them too close to the barrels.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Who's there?
That is of no importance. What matters is who you are and the plans that you have here.
So you can stop us from carrying them out?
Eventually, yes.
Hey, careful. You'll blow us all up.
I'm listening.
We are a group known as the Merry Men. But I suppose you knew that already. We are the men who've already lost everything of value in their lives. We are ruined shopkeepers. We are workers who were fired from their jobs. Honest people who were robbed. We were forced out from our homes and thrown onto the street. And all of this in the name of the so-called law. The laws that were set out by our government. The laws that make the commoners only more vulnerable and the wealthy more protected. We are not only from the British Empire. Some of us are from the New Lands, America, Australia, and we are many. But men we are still, and we are merry for that we stopped being afraid. For those powers that be had done their best to plant the fear inside our souls, and we accepted it so easily. The fear advised us to keep our heads bowed. It prevented us from fighting. Bankers and politicians... They own our lives, our work, our bread. and they push us to compete between each other, just to see who may serve them better. But in the end, they are the few, so they are weak. They are nothing without their titles. We should not fear them. Our so-called masters should fear us instead. The time has come for our group to stand tall. Our great and many merry men. We are going to blow up the London Stock Exchange. No life shall be lost. But ownerships, debts, and property titles? They shall all be destroyed. They're only papers, after all. So many people will be freed over this night.
That is a radical step to take. What result do you truly expect?
Chaos. But soon people will understand that they are free, and that they don't belong to anyone. They will be able to work for themselves, together, without letting the rulers dictate what to do, and finally justice will arise.
What you are intending to do is a crime. It is not justice.
How do you see justice, then? Kids go to prison for a loaf of dry bread. And how many lords do you see punished for stealing from their people, sending them to their deaths in mines or overseas to fight for land? Our masters wouldn't hear us. So now it's time to sing the song of the merry men. Will you let us do our duty?
Y bien, como hemos dicho, vamos a tirar el cigarro al agua.
When the law serves only the few, it can no longer be trusted. Every man is equal, and he has a right to choose his own way. I shall not stop you.
So, you're interested in Russian literature now?
Quite, lately.
It is an interesting book. I remember a few lines.
Really? I tried reading it myself, but I had a hard time understanding it.
Yes, Doctor. It's about intelligence. Sherlock, I vaguely recall one of the lines. Sometimes it takes something more than intelligence to act intelligently. There were also a few words along the lines of, pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. Tell me, Doctor, does my brother show any signs of pain or suffering?
Not that I know of.
Because you see, Doctor, behind all of his masquerade, my brother does possess a deep heart. So deep that he does not recall where he places his love.
Well, I'm sure that...
His love and his duty that, in the first place, should be directed towards the Empire. For without it, we would be nothing. A country filled with uncivilized men. I should leave now. Sherlock, Dr. Watson.
Holmes, what just happened? What was that?
The start of a new world. Anything in the post, Watson? Any clients worthy of our attention?
Only a second reminder from Mrs. Hudson about our new neighbour. She urges you to remove your...
Oh, I don't care about that.
Holmes, the lady who will be moving in shortly has requested the use of our spare room to place all of her boxes.
Wait, what? A lady?
Vale, pues este sería el otro final y vamos a intentar repetirlo y vamos a echarle la culpa al Chatman, ¿no? Estos vídeos son largos porque es que tienen muchos finales. Vale, a ver cómo lo hacemos. Tendremos que cambiar personal. Declaración y testigo de la punta a Leighton Chatman. Tiroteo. Víctima por una persona. Disparos simultáneos. Y lo de la acróbata del circo. Lo creo para autojustificarse. y así nos debería dar como culpable a Chapman. Entonces tenemos absolver o condenar. Vamos a absolver primero.
Leighton Chapman, you did commit a double murder in Half Moon Street. It was due to a long-held grudge against one of your victims, Brian Vercotti. However, your brother Wiggins came to me. He needs you as much as you need him. I have faith that you will not err again, so I have decided that you shall avoid a harsher fate.
But no! It didn't happen like that!
We have solid evidence, Chapman. You cannot deny it. A crime is a crime, but Mr. Holmes has convinced us to ease your sentence. Don't make us regret it.
Mr. Holmes! But you promised to save him.
Vale, y si repetimos el final con Azor, es que es lo mismo, va a ser lo mismo, ¿no? Solamente va a cambiar que en vez de ser un final menos duro, va a ser más duro y ya está, ¿no? Prácticamente va a ser el mismo final porque otro final no hay, ¿no? Nada más que podríamos hacer este o el del acróbata. Pues este sería ya el último final del último caso.
Leighton Chapman, a long-held grudge against your acquaintance, Brian Vercotti, led to the dreadful murder in Half Moon Street. You killed Brian Vercotti and his companion, Kenneth Butler, with cold single-mindedness. The law will not tolerate that.
No, it's not true! I'm innocent!
It's all over now, lad. The clues speak for themselves. Now you'll have to face up to justice.
Mr. Holmes! But you promised to save him.
Pues nada. Hasta aquí este caso. Siempre nos quedamos con el... Mira, el 1% de la gente ha solucionado algo, como yo. Vale, pues hasta aquí este último caso. Hasta aquí este juego de Sherlock Holmes. Como siempre os digo, si os ha gustado, si os ha servido, suscribiros al canal, dadle a like para ayudarme, para que siga subiendo guías, ¿vale? Si no, algún día tendré que dejar de subir guías. Y poco más. Si tenéis algún juego que queráis que le eche un vistazo, que haga una guía o lo que sea, dejadme un comentario, decirme, me gustaría que haga una guía de tal juego que no, que estoy atascado o lo que sea, y yo intentaré encontrar, comprar o lo que sea el juego y intentar hacer la guía, ¿vale? Pediría que no me pidierais juegos como el, yo que sé, Fortnite y cosas así de shooter y cosas que no se pueden hacer guías, ¿sabes? Lo que yo me dedico más que nada es a hacer guías. Pero bueno, si queréis dejarme un comentario con algún otro juego así también, pues dejadlo y a ver si lo puedo jugar o lo que sea. Vale, pues dicho todo esto, solamente nos queda despedirnos, así que paro el vídeo aquí y nos vemos en el siguiente juego.